Today's video we are going to be making these Christmas baubles. Very cute, hang from the tree or anywhere else you like. You don't have to put the feet and the face on, you can just leave them as regular baubles. I think they look quite fun. So we're going to start with the colour that you're going to use for your main colour for your bauble. So I'm choosing yellow for this one. Just a little bit of black if you want to put the eyes on. White to make the actual bauble top and his feet. 2mm hook, scissors, stitch marker, and just your needle to sew the ends in. Now for row 1 it's a magic circle with 6 single crochets. So we need to wrap the yarn around and do a cross on the other side like so. Under the first one and pull that second one back through, and then you're going to grab this tail and just pull it through to make your loop. That's your magic circle at the moment with nothing in it. So we're going to go through, pull the yarn up, so we've got 2 on our hook, and pull through 2. That's 1 single crochet, and we have 2, so we need 6. 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now this is where we pop our stitch marker in, and I'm going to show you how to tidy up that other end because we've got a little bit of a loop which won't look pleasant. So we're going to pop our stitch marker in that last stitch like so, and here we have this dangly bit which won't look pretty. So the main loop, we're going to give this end a tug, and you just watch it close up slightly. See, it's coming in nicely. You don't want to put it too tight or you'll have trouble getting into that first stitch. And then obviously we need to close the round, and there is your magic circle with 6 single crochets. Now for row 2 we're going to increase into each stitch. So we've got 6 on there at the moment, we're going to increase it to 12. So we're going to go into this first one to begin with, and we're going to do 2 single crochets into that first stitch. There's 1 and number 2. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we need to take our stitch marker out for number 11 and 12. Come through 11 and 12, and remember to pop your stitch marker back in, and then I'm going to close that ring up a little bit more so we don't have a hole showing. So I tend to wrap the yarn around my hook and give it a gentle tug. You don't want to snap it off, otherwise it will start undoing itself the other end. There we go. Next row is row 3. 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then we're going to do our increase in this next one. So two stitches in that one, 2 single crochets, and we're going to carry on with that pattern all the way around. 1 single crochet, and then an increase in the next one. So we've got 2 in this one, and if you carry on round, I'll meet you on the beginning of the next row. Row 4, we're going to have 2 single crochets, then your increase. So we have 1, 2, and an increase in this next one, 1, 2 in the same stitch. So we're going to carry that pattern again all the way around, 2 single crochets followed by 1 increase, and I will meet you beginning of the next round. So I'm just going to do an increase in this one here, and then I'll meet you at the end. Row 5, we're up to 3 single crochets and then our increase. So 1, 2, 3, and then an increase in this next stitch. And if you carry on 3 single and an increase, I'll meet you at the beginning of the next row. Into row 6, this is the last of our increase round, so we're going to do 4 single crochets and then our increase. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our increase. Where's it gone? There we have it. So if you'd like to carry on 4 single crochets, then your increase, I'll meet you at the next round. Okay, now for rows 7 through till 12, so that's 6 rounds, we are just going to do 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way around. No increases, just a single crochet all the way around. So if you want to carry on and do round to row 12, and I will meet you at the beginning of row 13. Just finished row 12, so we're going to start row 13 now. Obviously make sure that you've put your stitch marker back in. One's got a bit caught there. And we're going to work everything in reverse now. So we're going to do 4 single crochets on this round. It's round 13, and then you'll decrease. So we'll start off with 4 single crochets. Two, got some fluff on me. 3 and 4. And then we're going to do our decrease. So we need to pick up the front loops of the next 2 stitches. So there's our 2 stitches. We're going to pull the yarn through gently. So we have 2 on our hook, and then we're going to pull the yarn through both. That's your decrease. Then we carry on with another 4 single crochets, and then your decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another decrease. So the front loops of the next 2 stitches, that's 1, flick it round and do the other one. There's 2, pull the yarn through both, and then pull the yarn through the last 2. There we have it. So if you carry on, I'll meet you at the beginning of the next row. On to row 14, we are going down to 3 single crochets and then our decrease. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then our decrease. Same again, front 2 loops for the next 2 stitches, pull it through and pull it through. So if you carry on, I'll meet you at the beginning of the next row. On to row 15, and we're going to go down a bit further. So we're going to do 2 single crochets and then our decrease. So we have 1, 2, and then decrease in the next 2 stitches. Like so. So if you carry on, I'll meet you at the beginning of the next round. Now before we go any further, we're going to put some stuffing, which I failed to mention at the beginning of the video. But any stuffing you like. If you haven't got your stuffing, then ends of yarn that you've cut off maybe, anything that will fill it. So I want to make it quite firm. And then encourage it to go into a nice round shape. Okay, Now we're going to carry on, and this is going to be row 16, so we've got 1 single crochet and then our decrease. So at the same time you need to put your finger behind as you're going around now, just to make sure the stuffing doesn't come back up through it. So we have our 1 single crochet, if it's going to come through, there we have it, and our decrease. So keep working your way around, 1 single crochet and a decrease, and I'll meet you at the beginning of the next round. Into row 17, we're going to do decreases all the way around. So we pick up our front loops of the first 2, like so. Try and avoid getting the stuffing in. Pull through 2, and then pull through the last 2. That's 1 decrease. And keep working your way around. You've got 6 of them in total to do, and I will meet you at the end of this round. Now I've just finished that round. I'm going to cut a little piece of yarn. We don't need a lot because we're not sewing this one onto anything else. And we're going to pull it through. Like so. Thread our needle. We need to pick up these last 6 stitches to close the hole. So this is our first one here. So we're going to go through that one. That's 1. This is number 2, number 3, 4, 5, and here's our last one here, number 6. Now that you've got all of those threaded on, you're going to hold it down with your nail and give it a gentle tug. Just ease it through as you'll hold the yarn, but push it down with your finger and thumb, because obviously you don't want it to suddenly rip off. And then I generally just go back through the middle, bring it through anywhere, like so, and then I give it a bit of a tug. Of course it closes it all up. We're going to snip that end off because we don't want that one hanging out. And there we have the first part of your bauble. So the next thing to do is to work on the top section here. So we're going to do another magic circle, round, cross it over, under the first one, pull back the second, and then pull the yarn through. That is your magic circle. And if you still find it difficult, I do have a separate video on the magic circle, which is really slowed down and easy to follow. So we're going to come through and pull up a yarn, and we're going to do our 6 single crochets through our magic circle. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. And again, you're going to want to put your stitch marker in because we're going to work in the round. It's only a couple of rounds, but we don't want to get lost to where I start and finish. There we have that one. And then we're going to go straight into our increase round. So we're going to have 2 single crochets into each stitch. So here's our first one. Get it through. There we have it. I'm going to do 2 in this one. 1, 2, number 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, and the last ones under our stitch marker will be our 11 and 12. Under here, look. 11 and number 12. And we'll place our stitch marker. Now for the third row, we're going to do the back loop only. So this is our front loop and this is our back loop. We're going to do a single crochet all the way around, so you'll have 12, but you're just going in these back loops here. all the way around. So it's number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and our number 12 is under this stitch marker. Number 12. There we have it. This is round 4, it's our last round. We're just going to do 1 single crochet, but we're going to go through both loops of each stitch. So you're going to have 12 stitches in total, all the way around. So I'll meet you back under your stitch marker. Now I've just finished that row. I'm going to finish off with slip stitch into the next one. So yarn through and pull it through again. And we're going to cut the yarn. We need it fairly long because we're going to sew it onto the bauble. Like so. But we need to make the hanger now. So to do that, we're just going to chain 16. So put a slip knot on your hook. Whoops. And we're going to go ahead and chain 16. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops, lost that one. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. And I'm going to put it through, cut some yarn, and there we have our hook. So this now needs to come through here before we do anything else. So I generally go through the middle with my hook, find that center piece that's kind of off. Where are we? There. We're going to pull these bits of yarn back through that center piece, like so. And then with the tail end that we started off with, we're going to tie those quite tight. There we have it, 2 or 3 is fine. And we're going to use those to stuff it with. So we can wind them up. Pop our loose ends in. And then we are going to pop it on the last bit that you finished. Obviously this is where we started and this is where we finished, so it's going to cover up all the decreases that you don't want to see, like so. And I'm just going to pop a pin in there to hold it whilst I thread that needle, otherwise it's going to go missing. So we're just going to secure it to our bauble now. So if you're happy that that's central, this is where we've done our slip stitch, so we know it comes this way. So I'm going to pop it down this next stitch here to start my stitching, and then it'll pull it the right way, as you can see. We literally need to nick underneath where the bauble is sitting so you don't see your stitches, and give it a tug. And then I will go up the next stitch, which is here, and down the following stitch, like so. So that's hidden. You'll see it in a second when it's tighter. And then I go back underneath the bauble. I don't want to do it here because you're going to see it. So work your way back underneath the bauble as you go around and give it a gentle tug, and then you're not going to see any of your stitches. So we're going to go up this one, down the next one. Make sure you've got both loops. And then again, underneath the bauble, under here. Sorry, the bauble, the top of the hanging device. And give it a pull and a tug. Make sure that stuffing stays in. The next stitch, down the following one. Where are we? There we are. And again, underneath your piece of work, give it a tug, up the next stitch, down the following one, and then underneath your piece of work, I'm going to go back here. Give it a tug. We don't need that pin now. Back here. Give it a tug. And there we have it. It's all secure, hidden stitches. So I'm just going to go back through this bauble a couple of times just to hide the tail end. And then cut that one off. So like I say, you can either leave the bauble as it is, or we can add the feet and the facial features. Now I'm going to show you how to make the feet. We're going to start by chaining 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to work our way back down your piece of work, and we're going to start off with 4 single crochets. So in each one we're going to do a single crochet, but just for 4. So we're going to go for the second loop on our chain. So this is number 1, and then in the next stitch, number 2, and then number 3, and number 4, and then in this last one here we're going to do 3 in the same hole. So we have 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to be working our way back up the other side. So we're not going to use this one because this is our big hole that we've now just made with these 3 single crochets. So we know this is our next stitch here. And I'm going to bring this wall in with it so we don't have to sew that end in. So we have 1, 2, and then number 3. And I've carried that chain, well, the thread behind, so we can ignore that now because that's in enough. And this last stitch here we're going to do our 3 single crochets in that same hole. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And it's at this point we need to pop our stitch marker in, because now we're going to be working in the round. So we'll pop that in there. The next round we're going to start off with an increase. So we've got this first stitch here. We're going to do 2 single crochets. 1, 2, and we're going to alternate it with 1 single crochet, like so, and then just keep repeating the pattern, increase and 1 single crochet, and I'll meet you at the beginning of the next round. Okay, so on that last round here we had 1 odd stitch, so just do 1 single crochet. So you're doing your increase and then your 1 single crochet all the way around, and then it leaves you with the 2 odd ones, so it's just 2 single crochets at the end of that round. Now the next one we're going to start off with 1 single crochet, and then we're going to start to decrease back down. So we've got 1 single crochet, And then we're going to pick the front loops up with these next two, and that's your decrease. We've got one single crochet, and your decrease. Just keep working your way around. This one's my decrease. I've got this speckly wool, and unfortunately the hard bits get trapped around the hook and don't like me finishing my stitches. That's our decrease. One single crochet, decrease, one single crochet, decrease, and we're going to end up finishing on a one single crochet on this round. Come through, there we have it, and we're going to finish off with a single crochet. Let's just pop that marker back in. Okay, now this is our last round. We're going to start off with our decrease. So we've got our first front loops of the next two stitches. Pull it through like so, and then one single crochet, front two loops. Make sure it's flipped out the right way. Single crochet, front two loops, just trying to get that speckly bit. Whoops. And one single crochet, front two loops, and we're going to end up with our two single crochets again on this round, because there's not enough for us to do that decrease. So let's take this last one out and just finish it off with that other single crochet like we did in that first round. And there we have it. We're going to pull the yarn through, obviously leave enough because we do need to sew it onto the body. Like so. It's going to go that way. So there's our first booty, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of stuffing in it, which is here. And there we have a booty to go on our figure. So I'll let you carry on and do the same again for your second booty, and I'll meet you back here. Right, now I have my two boots made. You just need to position them roughly where you'd like them on the bauble. I've already stuffed them slightly. And then I'm going to check and make sure they're evenly spaced. So there's our center. So we've got 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to start with this one. It doesn't matter if the other one comes off whilst you're doing it. You can reposition it once this one's been sewn on. So we're going for that position. And our thread is here. So I'm going to start going into the body. Again, underneath the boot, so it's hidden away. You've got no stitches showing. And I'm going to come back up one and down the next one. Underneath where the booty is. Going to go up the next stitch. And down the following one. Back under the booty. Give it a tug as you go. So under this next stitch. This one's going to come off for a second, it's getting in my way. And down through the next one. Give it a tug. Under the body. Just keep working your way around, up one stitch, down the other one, and then hide it under the body, or the boot. Keep checking that it's still in place. This will be our last one. And again, up and under the body. I'm going to take it through that way. So that's one of our booties on. I'm going to leave the thread because I generally reuse that for the eyes and the mouth. And then we're going to reposition our other boot. Just check that they're going to be similar sizes apart. So that'd be about there. And then I'm going to carry on with this one and I'll meet you when you've got both feet attached. Okay, now we have both of our feet attached and I've just got these loose bits of yarn. I'm just going to pop a pin in where I would like the eyes to be. So we're going to work our way down this center line and go around. So I think I need one here. And then we're going to do equal amounts. So 1, 2, we're going to pop one here. Like that. And then I'm going to reuse these white yarn, and I'm just going to go back up where I've just pulled it through, and we're going to go next to where the pin is, like so. We're just going to pop a stitch through to make the slit of the eye, and then we're going to work our way back over to this one. That's where the pin is. Take that one out, and again just make a point for the slit of the eye. Now I think I'm going to want it slightly wider, so I'm going to go over to the next one for the second one and do the same over here. So as you can see, it's going to pull it wider and give it a bit more definition. So we're going to do this next one here, and I'm just going to bring it up anyway because I'm finishing with that eye for now. I just want to add the pupil to it, which we are going to do in the black. So just thread a little bit of black. I'm going to pop a knot on the end, and you find one of your larger holes like here. Then I'm going to go back up through this bit here, and I'm going to give it a slight tug to pop it inside, and then that's secure. We're going to go along one stitch on here. You can feel for it. Come back up the other side to the other eye. and we're going to go along one stitch, and we're going to lose this through the back somewhere, like that. So that's made your little pupils. I've got a bit of stuffing coming through, so I'm going to get rid of that because it's blocking our view to see the black. There we have it. We have our eyes, and then we find the longest piece of white, and we're going to go in and we're going to pop a mouth on him. So we're going to work our way back through here, and we're going to look for where we'd like the mouth. So we're going to follow this line down here, and I'm going to pop one about here, and we're going to follow this line down here. I think that's about, there we have it. I'm going to go back up the same hole, and then back down the other side. We're just going to lose this piece of cotton yarn in the back. Should have cut this one a bit longer maybe. It saves wasting thread. And there we have his smiley face. We should be able to thread this back up through to lose it in the stuffing in the middle. Which end do I want? I want this end. There we have it. So it's through the same hole. I'm going to pull it through the top because it's quite tight up there. It'll keep it in place. There we go. Snip that end off. And again with the black, finish with that one. And this last piece of white. So there we have our bauble with his smiley face, ready to join the others. So if you like the video, please give me a like, maybe subscribe, and I'll get another free tutorial up next week. Thank you.